Participatory democracy. Listen to KBLA Talk 1580, Saturday morning, January 13th from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. for an exclusive forum featuring the candidates for LA County District Attorney. Join KBLA's Tavis Smiley as he helps navigate what promises to be a forum full of fire when the candidates trying to unseat current LADA George Gascon come together on stage on the campus of the Charles R. Drew University of Medicine and Science. Again, it's the LA County District Attorney Forum, live, exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580, Saturday morning, January 13th, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Helping to raise your civic IQ. We're KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Welcome back into hour 3 of RSVP with Jill Munroe. We had to let that Kelly Price ride a little bit. It's late. It's the vibes. That song is always interesting to me because she's like, I'm not your mother. I'm your woman. Do y'all have those conversations in relationships? I mean, I get it, but I hope to never have to have that type of conversation with a significant other. I don't like it. Okay, so listen, before we get into the Kelly Price story, I mentioned Chuck D. So he has come to singer Madonna's defense. Last week on Twitter, I guess early in their careers, maybe they, had some tours, some performances, or some shows they had. So there is a relationship. But Chuck D responded to some people in Madonna's comments making, ageist statements, right? And so here's what he had to say. At 63, I know I can bike better than I ever did, and Pilates ain't easy, but I give it to Madonna for pushing the bars. He said that Flava Flav is taking Pilates too, and he's 64. So then this is the part that's curious to me because, the rest, no big deal. Support her. Yeah, it's a good thing. You got to keep active, keep your body moving. That's what's going to keep you young. That's what's going to help keep you healthy. We all can agree with that. But he said, ageism sometimes gets like racism, both ways if you let it. And I get it. People can be cruel based on age. I think even more so now, it's sort of a weird time. Even though there are more examples of youthful individuals that are at it, later ages or past middle age or right at middle age, and we're seeing them in ways that maybe we hadn't before. It's still not like racism in that, I don't know, like, is there power in ageism? I mean, we know it's unfair, but racism is about power in a lot of ways and, limiting opportunity. And of course, opportunities can be limited because people view your age as a deterrent. But I don't know, I just thought it was an interesting statement that he really didn't come back and explain. But I appreciate him standing up for her. As I mentioned, their, careers have kind of crossed over one another through the years. Her greatest hits album, The Immaculate Collection, it had the track Justify My Love, which I loved. And who flipped that to Justify My Thug? Okay, yeah. But Justify My Love, that was my joint. But that song actually sampled a beat that had previously been used in a Public Enemy song, Security in the First World. And that actually is a song that's written by Lenny Kravitz. So look at there, connecting all the dots, less than 6 degrees of separation. So they also performed, I guess, together back in '88 when Public Enemy was touring with, or, cross paths with some show. It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back, which is obviously the piece de resistance. If you have one as far as Public Enemy's catalog, that is for me. That's the first one. So, Madonna has been having trouble with her tour because she's older, some health issues. Shout out to getting it in and doing Pilates in the 60s. We really should be more respectful of our elders. There's wisdom that comes there. I think the fact that we have lost some of that and that generations don't spend as much time connecting with one another, there's not as much family dinners. I mean, we all hear the jokes about people just talking about moms and dads dropping their kids off at the grandparents' house, but I don't think that connectivity is there. And I think because of that, there is less respect for the elders in society and what they've overcome, and how you even have all of these freedoms is essentially built on the backs of others that have given up things, sacrificed, et cetera, et cetera. And there are conversations that can be discussed about what they went through, how it applies to now, and their thoughts and feelings, because really there's a wealth of knowledge there, and you can connect the dots, learn something even. So that is one thing I hope, as we are calling 2024 the era of truth, or whatever the statement is. I hope that somewhere in there is a respect for aging and the elderly and the wisdom that they hold, and that we can be more appreciative as far as that comes. Listen, on the other side, we're going to get into more trending topics, more headlines, this Kelly Price story, all of that and more. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Trending topics and the hottest happenings. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. So, what are you doing this Friday morning? How about you come join the KBLA delegation as we make a historic announcement and unveil our climate justice campaign for 2024. We'll be assembled for this major press conference along with LA Mayor Karen Bass, Ben Jealous, Executive Director of the Sierra Club, and a host of other public and private leaders who are joining us on this journey to justice, climate justice. We can't think of a better way to kick off the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. holiday weekend, linking social justice and climate justice. So, come join us this Friday morning at 10:30 a.m. at the beautiful MLK Memorial Tree Grove at the top of Kenneth Hahn Park off La Cienega. Once again, that's this Friday morning, January 12th at 10:30 a.m. as we take on the task of elevating the climate conversation by amplifying the voices of those who are most impacted by the climate catastrophes we are all witnessing in real time. KBLA delegation, we hope to see you this Friday morning at KBLA Talk 1580. Climate is king. Climate is king. Climate is king. Climate is king. Climate is king.
I started vaping my freshman year of high school, mostly because all my friends had vapes. I wanted to fit in with them and look cool and be a part of everything that they were doing. The hardest part about quitting for me was all my friends still hitting their vapes right next to me. It was really frustrating and confusing when I was trying to quit, because in my head I knew I didn't want to do it anymore, but for some reason my brain still wanted it.
No quit story is the same. For free support, text Kick Nicotine to 66819 today.
Some people won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is killing people. It's a powerful opioid, often made illegally and commonly mixed with illicit drugs. It can even be pressed into counterfeit pills that resemble prescription medications. Just 2 milligrams, about the size of a few grains of sand, can potentially be lethal. This isn't an ad to scare you, but it is an ad to make you think twice. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the Ad Council.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
What's up?
I'm tired of feeling so bloated.
That used to be me. Then I got this.
Align bloating relief plus food digestion. A probiotic, right?
Yeah, it works naturally with your gut to help soothe occasional bloating and gas. Plus, it has vitamin B12 to aid digestion by helping convert food to cellular energy. 2 benefits, 1 capsule.
Align Bloating Relief plus Food Digestion from the #1 doctor-recommended probiotic brand. Learn more at alignprobiotics.com.
My dad has a cold, but also has high blood pressure. That's why I got him Vicks DayQuil High Blood Pressure for max strength daytime relief. Unlike some ordinary cold medicines, it's specially formulated for people like my dad. DayQuil High Blood Pressure is sugar-free, alcohol-free, and decongestant-free.
Vicks DayQuil High Blood Pressure. The daytime, non-drowsy, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, cold and flu for people with high blood pressure.
Like my dad.
Medicine. Use as directed.
Hey, keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are locked in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So forensic accountant in the chat says, you're right, Jill. Imagine us saying something like, okay, boomer, unacceptable. Think of all the important people who were born between 1946 and 1964. And maybe it's because I enjoy history so much, or when I was a child, someone said to me, those that don't know history are doomed to repeat it. And I took it to heart. But I just think there's so many clues and so many things that you can take from the past and apply to the present, or at the very least, learn some lessons from that aspect. On the line, we have a caller, Fahima from DC. Hey, Fahima, happy Tuesday. It's Tuesday. Well, Wednesday where you are. How are you?
Greetings, Jill. Greetings. Listen, I just wanted to speak about Madonna. During this time, the particular 80s and 90s, Madonna was dating Basquiat. Mm-hmm. And oftentimes when she did her videos, the Nation of Islam's security firm in New York, at least I know, did a lot of security for her. Okay. And so Madonna was always down for the cause. And remember the controversial when she did...
Like a Prayer?
Yeah, and she had Leon. Mm-hmm. Leon as the...
and Pepsi dropped her.
Yes. And so she's always been down for the cause in the community. At least, we embraced her in New York. And this is one of the reasons why Public Enemy, because people have been like clowning her, lately, it's just really has been very cruel. But she was always down for the cause. And it was very courageous. I don't know if you remember when they were going to do these pictures of her, and she took possession of it and she put them out herself. Do you remember?
I vaguely remember that. I do. Yeah. The nude photos that she had taken like when she was 18. Yeah. Yes.
And she just, up and just put them out there herself. And so she just got ahead of stuff, but she was always down for the cause. And those of us in New York always embraced Madonna because she was a fixture, and like I said, she used to use the Nation of Islam security firm. But anyway, that's all I want to contribute. I got a story I'm going to send to you because I've been on these Twitter spaces and it's been hot, I tell you. Okay. Particularly around this election. But I'm going to send you something.
I love it. Thank you so much for calling, and I'll look out for whatever you're going to send me. I mean, that is a good point. I loved Madonna in the 80s. I say that. I do remember her first single, Holiday, not knowing initially if she was black or white. And, she was a part of the hip-hop scene, and that there have been different accusations labeled at her. But listen, the internet is cruel. And someone once said, and we're not advocating for violence here, but it's because people don't get punched in the mouth anymore. There are no repercussions to any of the things that people are saying. They, in most instances, aren't going to have to cross paths with these people. They'll never have to look them in their face and make these same comments. And I'm not trying by any means to say that people are above critique or that you can't have a different opinion, but people are cruel. They are mean for no reason now. And it's just like, why? Why? But I guess the why is because they can. So make it happen. Really quickly before I forget, shout out to Angela Bassett. The governor's ball was tonight, where she received her honorary Academy Award. There's a lot of conversation last year when she did not receive the Best Supporting Actress Oscar for her performance in Black Panther 2. But now she has an Oscar, and this is the same honorary Oscar that Samuel L. Jackson received. And though I appreciate the honor, and did Spike win? I know Spike got an honorary one, I think. But I think he actually won. I'm going to have to look that up. I can't remember. I feel like we might have had this conversation, Andy, about this, whether or not these honorary designations, are they the same? Do we appreciate them? Or does it just feel like it's one of those like, here, damn, take this and be quiet and leave us alone. See, we're honoring you. We appreciate you. I'm not sure, Forensic accountant in the chat says, open your mouth, get popped right in it. That's like talk-ish, get hit. I mean, again, not advocating for violence, because obviously we have enough violence, especially if you're talking about entertainment and hip-hop and that nature that has popped off. So you don't want to see that. But I do think there is something to the fact that people are so reckless nowadays. It's crazy to me. Just disrespectful.
Social media has given people a voice that,
absolutely,
for all intents and purposes, would probably be quiet or a mute. And like you said, or like Forensic Accountant says, you wouldn't say any of that stuff that you post on social media to somebody's face.
It's just, I think they're just trying to work out because sometimes it's like, yeah, you have your opinion, but what is the way they break it down? Is it, and I'm not even saying it has to be kind. Okay, that's unrealistic. Everything is not going to be kind. But you should ask yourself, is it kind? Does it help? And is it necessary? Because sometimes it's just like, wow, what kind of day are you having to remind these people like, oh, Madonna, your butt is on your back and it's misshapen, or anyone, it's mean.
Some people like being trolls, like for real. They revel in being a troll.
But don't you think that is a slight, like, I get teasing, right, and doing that. But when, like, troll is your full-blown personality, I get a little bit of misery in that,
I wonder how 50 feels. I wonder how Lil Nas X feels.
50 is definitely a troll. I mean, but at least 50, I understand. Like, all 50's trolling is to try and get attention, to bring it back to whatever he's trying to pitch to you. I don't agree with it. I think 50's a Cancer. So I think that, here we go in astrology, I think that he is the epitome of a Cancer. I think 50 is sensitive, super sensitive on the inside of that crusty shell. And so he jabs to protect himself, or, sometimes just to get attention. I do think that it is funny to him. I do think he has like a little dark sense of humor, and he is the type that will twist the knife when he gets it in you. When he's the type of person, if he hits that spot, like your tender spot, he's going to go in and apply pressure. But I don't know. I just think the people that perpetually troll like that and always have something negative to say, they're either crying out for attention. Well, it's no either. I feel like they're crying out for attention and they're unhappy with wherever they are right now. So they want to inflict that same misery on you. I know. It's so cliche. But here's the thing about cliches. They start somewhere. So just think about that. Okay. Shout out to Angela Bassett. Congratulations. She looked amazing. She had on a gold, sparkly Dolce and, well, gold nude, not sure. Dolce and Gabbana dress. And she looked fantastic. It's sheer, she has a bodysuit underneath. We could see the legs. Go ahead, Angela. 65 looks amazing on you. So shout out to her on that achievement. And we still hope that another role will garner her, award success in the future. But no, awards aren't the be all to end all. Okay, so Miss Kelly Price, I'm sorry, and I'm not going to say the joke, but did you guys ever watch Catfish? Did you ever watch that MTV's Catfish? That famous episode of Catfish where a girl was being catfished by like her homegirl, and the whole reason why she trolled her and made her think that she was in this relationship and so in love was because her friend called her Kelly Price. That's not how she termed it, but a little mean, but kind of amusing. Go find that clip if you can. It was popular. That was back when Twitter was tuning in weekly for the Catfish broadcast. That was a genius show initially. So anyway, Kelly Price, she can be a diva at times. People that watched her on, what was it, R&B Divas, had a lot of opinions and, here, there, and everywhere. Well, recently, she let loose with a little foul-mouthed kind of tirade and dropped some explosive allegations about her fellow judges while she was on the show Sunday Best, basically accusing them of fornicating and, affairs and scandalous behavior, right? So the show launched in 2008 actually, and I guess it ended in 2020. And during that time period, judges have featured Erica and Tina Campbell of Mary Mary, BB and CeCe Winans, Donnie McClurkin, Yolanda Adams, Kim Burrell, Jonathan McReynolds, Kiera Sheard, and more. It was hosted by Kirk Franklin. So Kelly Price said that there was despicable and disgusting behavior by members of the gospel community, including preachers, and that some of them even attempted to sleep with her. She goes on to say that I am one of the very few artists who have been able to record and tour with both gospel and R&B artists. She said that the lives that are lived by the people that you worship are despicable and disgusting. This was in the Instagram Live. She said, I saw things that happened on the road with a lot of these artists, doing shows with these artists and all kinds of stuff. My heart was broken because there's still a part of me that believed the holiness without no man shall see the Lord. That's biblical also. So, she then went on to clap back at, of course, again, we were just talking about the comments. So, the comments are going to come for you. You better be tight. You either take a strategy of, I'm going to ignore all the comments. I'm not going to read them. I'm not going to get into the whole X, Y, and Z, or get your clapbacks ready because they know more about you than you know about them. And, they can get at you. But that didn't necessarily happen at this time. What happened was it was a person on Twitter named Classy Queen 5, and she said that it's something to Kelly about her, dropping the tea and spilling all the business. And Kelly clapped at her. She said, Lord, deliver us from pastor hoes and pedophiles. Deliver us from self-righteous congregants who send money to liars and pimps in plain sight. Then come deliver me. She said, the nerve you have. I was the only artist judge on Sunday Best that wasn't screwing someone else's spouse, fornicating, or messing with kids and boys. But you have smoke for me? FOH. You ignorant, church-going, brain-dead a-hole. Kelly went in and threw some of her contemporaries under the bus in that moment. So it was like abruptly during the second season that she was signed on. It was, I guess the season 10 auditions, and she never spoke about why she left until now and her feelings. This exposure culture, at some point, right, are we going to get bored with it? Because, at the heart of it, all the stories generally come back to what? Sex. Who people are choosing to engage with, how they are getting down. And ultimately, it's not our business. I understand the concern when you're talking about a marriage and things of that nature, but even with that, it's not our business. We can chat about it sometimes. We have opinions, but it's really not our business. And I just wonder what Kelly wanted to gain by doing this, because girl, you know what's coming next. The questions are coming. People are going to want to know who you're talking about. They're going to start speculating. And when you do something that is so targeted in a way, but still so broad, I think that is kind of unfair. By no means am I trying to silence people or say they shouldn't be able to speak their truth or tell their story or their experience. But why are you playing? When you say something like that it's going to get people talking. And so it takes it back to attention is a drug, man. I don't know. I'm not saying that Kelly was necessarily looking for attention. Again, she might have just been speaking her piece. But I don't believe that people don't know how the internet and social media works at this point and what the speculation and fallout is going to be when you do stuff like that. And then are you going to be the same person to turn around and clap back and say, mind your business? It's not fair. We want to know too. Tell us it all. Don't, ration it out to us. Give it to us whole. Kelly. At any rate, I wonder what her fellow judges have to say about her statement, or will they just bypass it and keep it moving? I think that's maybe what I would do, but we'll see. Listen, when we come forward, we have more trending topics and headlines. You are locked in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Infusing a sense of fun and entertainment in every episode. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser says D.C. needs to create a new vision for the future of the Chinatown neighborhood. The mayor, who was black, announced the formation of the Gallery Place Chinatown Task Force. The panel will be focused on ways to redevelop the area surrounding Capital One Arena and Gallery Place, which has become a high priority since Monumental Sports announced the pending move of the Capitals and the Wizards. Business owners have cited crime as a top reason they can't operate in the neighborhood. The mayor said the city plans to listen to businesses and put in place whatever is necessary to reduce crime and jumpstart development in the area. MoDOT has awarded the city of St. Louis a $60,000 grant for driver's ed classes. Mayor Tashara Jones says the funds will help kickstart city programs that will help young people learn how to safely use city streets. The mayor, who is black, also says the program will help lessen young drivers' chances of getting into an accident. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
Let Express Employment Professionals help you hire for contract or full-time jobs. Forget about posting jobs, sifting through resumes, and interviews with unqualified applicants. Go to expresspros.com to find the location near you. That's expresspros.com.
So, what are you doing this Friday morning? How about you come join the KBLA delegation as we make a historic announcement and unveil our climate justice campaign for 2024. We'll be assembled for this major press conference along with LA Mayor Karen Bass, Ben Jealous, Executive Director of the Sierra Club, and a host of other public and private leaders who are joining us on this journey to justice, climate justice. We can't think of a better way to kick off the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. holiday weekend, linking social justice and climate justice. So, come join us this Friday morning at 10:30 a.m. at the beautiful MLK Memorial Tree Grove at the top of Kenneth Hahn Park off La Cienega. Once again, that's this Friday morning, January 12th at 10:30 a.m. as we take on the task of elevating the climate conversation by amplifying the voices of those who are most impacted by the climate catastrophes we are all witnessing in real time. KBLA delegation, we hope to see you this Friday morning at KBLA Talk 1580. Climate is king. 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 KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA reminds you that when we fight, we win, and we don't black down. LA Community Action Network, or LA CAN, was formed in 1999 when 25 residents of downtown LA came together and acknowledged the problems that existed in their community and made a commitment to do something about those problems, to stand together, organize, and become a force in the community that demands change. Civil rights and preventing the criminalization of poverty are their core projects. In addition, they take on women's rights, the human right to housing, and healthy food access. LA CAN also has projects focused on economic development, civic participation, voter engagement, and community media. While downtown LA remains their home base, with a particular emphasis on the Skid Row community, in 2007, they expanded their housing and healthy food access work into South Central Los Angeles. LA CAN believes that power for low-income people and people of color is achieved through a large, active, and well-informed member base that utilizes a multitude of methods to advance their messages and goals. If you'd like to join the Los Angeles Community Action Network and organize people to fight back against oppression, please visit cangress.org. That's cangress.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Are you a landlord in LA County with unpaid rent expenses? This is your last chance to apply for the Los Angeles County Rent Relief Program. This program is available to landlords with unpaid rent expenses in Los Angeles County, excluding the city of Los Angeles. If you are a landlord with unpaid rent, you could be eligible for a grant of up to $30,000 per unit. Tenants with unpaid rent are also welcome to refer their landlords to apply for this program. To learn more about the program or to apply, visit www.lacountyrentrelief.com. The application deadline is January 12, 2024. Submit your application before it's too late. This program is administered by the Los Angeles County Department of Consumer and Business Affairs.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminding you that we keep us safe. Pro Football Hall of Famer and urban peace pioneer Jim Brown believed in just that. So he founded the Amera I Can Foundation for Social Change in 1988, focusing on at-risk and high-risk youth in underserved schools and juvenile detention facilities, as well as adult incarceration and reentry initiatives. The core of the Amera I Can program is its 15-chapter life skills curriculum. Mastery of these skills allows individuals to meet their academic potential, conform their behavior to acceptable societal standards, and improve the quality of their lives by equipping them with what they need to confidently and successfully contribute to society. Today, the foundation is led by its president, Monique Brown, who has been actively involved in the organization for more than 25 years. The Amera I Can Foundation continues its work in memory of its founder, actor, philanthropist, and NFL legend Jim Brown. To get involved or make a donation, please visit AmeriCanCommunity.partners. That's AmeriCanCommunity.partners. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk Radio. The puts music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. Curating the most compelling stories and delivering them straight to your ears. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Listen, that Babyface pen game. Babyface wrote and produced this one. I believe he's singing background on this as well. And I'm not sure because as Andy just reminded me, the song is 30 years old. Take a Bow, Madonna. Was that on the Evita soundtrack? I feel like it might have been. The Bedtime Story, which is one of my fave Madonna albums. Bedtime Stories had, what is the song? Relax Yourself. I can't remember the name of it. It was my bop. There's a couple of things on there. I really like that album. But it was after Evita. Remember Madonna did Evita, that favorite stage play. At any rate, shout out to them. Shout out to Madonna and Babyface, 30 years old. That stuff, that is crazy. Time just buckles, right? But here's the thing about good music. That song sounds timeless. It doesn't sound dated. The instrumentation is clear. It's a great song. Yeah. So shout out to that. Listen, what I forgot to mention when I told you about Angela Bassett receiving her honorary Oscar tonight is that it was Regina King who presented it to her. And I know I talked about her briefly earlier, but I'm so happy to see that Regina King is back out and about and doing well. She deserves all the things. LA native, grew up in Windsor Hills, right down the street, Westchester High. Shout out to Regina King. Thought that was. I can't wait. I know. Has Regina been? I believe she's been nominated for an Oscar. That is someone who I would like to see win, because listen, from all the way back to Boys in the Hood. Yes, 227 counts, but Boys in the Hood all the way up to American Crime. I believe that was the show that was on ABC that she also starred in. Just so many great role after so many great role. And, Regina's someone that also changed her trajectory. Because if you think about it, there was a period of time in the early 90s where it at least felt like they were trying to direct her to be, the little hood girl in the films, right? That Poetic Justice, there was a couple of videos where she played that role or whatever, but her talent and perseverance didn't allow her to get caught up in that trap. And I know not that particular conversation, but we have these conversations about pay disparities and what's an A-list and what deserves what pay and who we can compare them to. Regina is somebody who I think deserves all the things. And even though she gets her flowers, and maybe it's because she's so low-key, shout out to the Capricorn Queen. I believe her birthday's coming up as well. I just, I would like her to see more. Shout out to the chat. They always get it going. Forensic accountant, listen, the chat will be preserved, but I'm not reading that on air. I appreciate you, though. Shout out to you for adding that commentary, but you should have got that off this morning. Urban Spinster says, have you watched First Ladies of Freight? A cast member recently went to prison for money laundering with her drug kingpin man. I believe that comment is in response to what Forensic Accountant is discussing in the chat. And I'm going to leave it in the chat. That's why you guys should check out the YouTube chat, because there's always, like I said, always interesting conversation bubbling. So anyway, to keep it going forward and to keep moving forward, I forgot to mention when we were talking about the Kelly Price topic, I mentioned who all the judges were during the course of the show, but specifically on the season that Kelly Price was on, it also featured Jonathan McReynolds and Erica Campbell. So, and Kirk Franklin was the host. Do with that what you will. I will say, though, once again, cheating, it's whatever. Morally wrong, fine. But it's not illegal. And you are throwing accusations out there of pedophilia. And I know it's so easy to speak, but I just, I think there are certain things that if you are unsure, if you are ready to reveal the full details, especially something like that, which, hey, it's illegal. You didn't call the police. Why are you sharing that with us now? I am not saying what Kelly Price should have done. I am just saying if you felt that strongly about it and you want to share it now, oh no, that seems really tricky to me to kind of cast that shadow and not come back with some type of, listen, Cat Williams said, what? It's the year of truth, right? And the receipts were out there. So Kelly Price, if you got some receipts and you were throwing out those type of accusations, please bring them forward, because otherwise, again, it just feels really, really unfair to put those type of things on people, But that's just my opinion, just one person's opinion about what's happening here. Okay. I don't know, guys. Andy brought this to my attention, and, I kind of read about it. I saw a little bit about it, but it was not something I kind of paid attention to just because I kind of skipped around about it. So Lil Nas X, right? He says that he is going to be starting college in the fall for biblical studies. He said he'll be attending Liberty University, which is a school that, theological studies, that's what it's there for. He is going to be a dual concentration in Christian leadership and biblical studies. He said it is not a troll. He is serious. He posted what is purported to be an offer of acceptance from the university. And it says, Dear Montero Hill, congratulations. You've been officially accepted to Liberty University for the fall 2024 semester. Again, a dual concentration in Christian leadership and biblical studies. As we build a campus community exemplifying strong academic achievement and an unwavering commitment to the Christian faith, our admissions committee is dedicated to selecting students of the highest caliber. We believe you are one of these students, and we are confident you will be an outstanding addition to our student body. I wonder if they knew he was Lil Nas X when they accepted him, if this is factual. I should also point out, and I mean, it doesn't matter. This was back in the day. This is the same institution that I believe it's Jerry Falwell used to run back in the day, who got caught up with his own little cheating and threesome scandals. So do with that what you may. But he said in the comments, he said, I know some of y'all hate me right now, but I want you all to know I'm literally about to go to college for biblical studies in the fall. Not everything is a troll. Anyways, I'm a student again. Let's go. I don't know. Andy?
Straight troll.
You think he's trolling?
Trolling. I don't believe you go from twerking with the devil, you know what I'm saying, to mocking communion for those who, you know, are seeing the clip on social media. To being accepted to some sort of Christian university. I don't believe it. Because he has an album called J Christ or something like that that's supposed to drop this Friday.
Oh, okay. So this is the pre-promotion, and there must be a lot of, he's still riding that wave. I mean, look, I get it. When you first came out, it was shocking. You wanted to turn heads, get attention. I don't know if it's the black woman in me. I don't know that it's because I had parents that were from the South, you know, grandparents. I don't play with God in those manners. I am not, you know, telling you what to do and what choices to make in your own regard. But me, personally, there's a line for me. And when I see it, it's bright and blazing, and I'm not stepping over it. That's just me. You can do what you want. But I do think I opened up the full letter that he was sent. And so it was Jerry Falwell that used to be the head. And I know this because this letter that Lil Nas X is shooting out there is signed by Jerry Falwell, who is definitely not the head of Liberty University at this time. So, you know, Master Troll getting the conversation going for an hour. I mean, it's so interesting. I've talked about it before, how I said that I see the similarities between hip hop and early, like, you know, rock metal bands, especially bands like, you know, in the 70s and 80s and kind of that era and what they went through. And so many of them, we know at various points in their careers, either were or implied that they were into Satanism, devil worship, whatever. You know, the list goes on and on. Kiss was accused of that. Ozzy Osbourne and the pigeon, biting the head off of the pigeon on the stage, and all of these things. So it's so interesting to me. And again, we had this for a moment. There was a time in hip hop where there was a rap style that they were trying to popularize, that they were calling horrorcore. And I can't remember two of the groups. I know later in this group called Insane Clown Posse, which was a total joke of a group, were kind of skeeting off into that. And I think maybe it was a group called Helter Skelter. I don't know. It's interesting to me, like, you know, Doja played with a little bit of that imagery and got into it. Not trying to quash anybody creatively, but why we always got to go there to the devil? Is this your Illuminati ceremony? You know, people really believe that stuff and are heavy into it, you know, and they're going to think it. I have my own thoughts on the Illuminati. I think y'all are nuts. I'm not saying that I don't think powerful people do crazy things, but the way y'all talk about the Illuminati, nope, I don't get it. I've been in Hollywood too long. So that's just my thought.
You know, it's a lot of symbolism, that's why. And it's a lot of stuff that just goes over your heads. It's not anything that's just...
I know they talked about like a couple of years ago where everybody was taking the pictures with the one eye thing like that. And they're like, they're signaling. My thing with that is that just not like the fact that everybody throws up a peace sign in a picture? I'm asking, I'm asking, is it just, hey, we don't really know what to do? Everybody kind of takes the same sort of, I mean, I don't know what it means. It's provocative. It gets the people going. I'm just saying, I just wonder something like, oh, that looks cool. Oh, he did it on there. I'm going to do it too. Because there's a whole lot of not in the capacity. I'm using this term, but not in the capacity that we've been using it lately. There's a whole lot of Me Too's out there. Do you know what I'm saying? People want to circle and act like they're not following one another. And it's always been like that to a degree. A little worse now. Everyone looks like little carbon copies of the same person. I don't know. I do think, after I opened the letter up fully, I do believe that it is a troll. But why is he staying there? I mean, I guess the obvious reason, Catholic Church, homosexuality, pushing the envelope on those controversial issues. But I feel like we've done that. We can see something else from you, Lil Nas X. Everybody was heralding you with Old Town Road. That was the thing. And then you just went weird. I shouldn't say weird, but different. Listen, when we come forward, more trending topics and headlines. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
RSVP with Jill Munroe is your go-to show for staying in the know. More engaging conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
In Big Tobacco's fantasy land, children are the future. Here, tobacco companies are committed to higher education, offering scholarships to students who submit essays about the benefits of vaping. The tobacco industry even sponsors summer camps for kids. Don't worry, the tobacco-sponsored programs have been linked to leaving your kids more interested in smoking. In Big Tobacco's Fantasyland, the world's deadliest industry is your child's friend.
See reality at undo.org.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Mom's early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take.
And when I left the oven on, we decided together that it was time to see a doctor and make a plan.
Early detection gave us more time to seek out information and support as a family.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. For more information, visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right.
Y'all gotta try that Febreze car.
Just right, just right, just right. Yeah. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency. All over Febreze car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face. When it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah. Breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
It's game day at Jim's house, and the spread is impressive.
Mike's already done some damage with the hot wings, and now he's dropping back and going deep for another slice of pizza.
I sure hope he brought the Pepto.
Mike knows the Pepto-Bismol provides fast 5-symptom relief from unexpected stomach upsets. He's no rookie.
The way he's throwing back those nachos, he's the GOAT.
Be ready for game day with Pepto-Bismol.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Now back to more captivating conversation on RSVP with Jill Munroe.
You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So, it's only right that I give you an update on this Tupac case with Keefe D. So if you haven't heard, he has been granted bail in the amount of $750,000. And he is going to be on house arrest while he is waiting trial for the murder of Tupac. listen, Keefe D's 60 years old. Dwayne Davis, that's his real name. He's going to go home and give it an ankle monitor. He talked himself into this charge. Someone has to pay. I don't know if it's too little too late, but seeing him run around and give all these details, and I know he got some sort of immunity back when it originally happened and the police came and spoke with him, but that just seemed very arrogant how are you going to say you were in the car when one of the top rappers ever was murdered so casually and then proceed to go on your own personal press tour around it and expect nothing to happen. I'm curious to see what actually happens in the case. Will he be convicted? Will he serve time? Or is this a situation where, they're trying to appease some aspect of it? We'll have to see. We'll stay tuned. So, last note on the Shannon Sharpe interview, which again I mentioned is on its way to being the second most video interview viewed on YouTube of all time. Michael Blackston has come back into the chat. We know he had commentary last week about Kat, but he had a caveat that he wanted to drop into the world. And what he had to say was, Kat roasted all of us for free. The only real pimp, because, Kat did not get paid. Presumably, Shannon Sharpe doesn't pay his guests, right? But he's like, I'm not sure how much YouTube pays for, I guess at the time of this tweet, 35 million views, but Shannon needs to write Kat a check. Kind of. I mean, he doesn't have to in theory because it's also going to benefit Kat as well. As I talked about last night, his show May 4th here in LA only had, according to Ticketmaster at the time, I think they said 5% of the tickets left for his tour. It's already sold out in a few other places. It starts later this month. But it would be nice. I would do that, Second most viewed interview of all time on YouTube. I would shoot him some coins over, I would. And since Kat is so generous, I think that you shouldn't even feel a way about doing that because, we've heard stories about Kat being free with people like that. Listen, thank you for locking in to RSVP with Jill Munroe tonight. We are here every night at 9 p.m. Pacific time. Tomorrow is Wednesday, so you know what that means. That means that we will have our Keep It Real friend in the building, Trent the artist, and of course, more trending topics and headlines. As always, when we come forward, you will be listening to the best of KBLA. Have an amazing night. Thank you, VIPs, for checking in with me.
And I swear by the moon and the stars, I'll be there. I swear, like the shadow that's by your side, I'll be
there. KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.